part 4 of our fish trap basket making set. So far, guys, what we've covered thus far has been selection of parts. Okay. We've covered getting red twig dogwood. Okay. And willow. Alright, these two things are two very good pieces that you can use. They're strongly suggested to use. They're very flexible, very strong, will last you a long time. We also gathered several rib pieces, 5 of these. Remember to do your basket in sets of odd numbers. Unless you're wanting to use a Japanese weave, then you use even numbers. Japanese weave is every 2 to 1. The Western weave, which is what we're using, is every other one, is an over and under, and etc. all the way around. Okay, so there are other things that can be used in making these baskets. Okay, you're looking at anything humanly possible, anything that your imagination can come up with that's going to be strong and be able to handle this kind of thing. You're looking at leaves from cattails. You're looking at just about anything. I mean, you could use a shirt, for crying out loud, if you had to. Anything to that effect that's going to help you, to aid you into creating a shell, breathable shell in here that you can sink into the water and secure, and then come back the next day to hopefully harvest your fish. Okay, anyhow, on with part 4. What I've done here, guys, is we're to a point now where I want to make some kind of a support in the center of this to keep these from moving around. Now some guys like to, here's a little tip for you that some people like to do when they make these baskets, is they'll actually form one of these circles, and I'll go over that with you in just a second. And what they'll do is they'll just tie it off somewhere up and through here, usually at the top, just to keep things, the top of this secure. And they're doing that while they're actually forming from this cone on down until you can get to a certain spot where your particular size trap is secure, is firm, isn't going to be whopper jawing out on you. And then usually a person will just, once it gets to that point, they'll remove that piece temporarily and just finish it. There's a couple ways to making these, and that is, one, you can theoretically, and you can, I've done it, is start at the bottom, and you can pretty much, for the most part, on these real big, thicker ones, you can take these things and you can just run them all the way up. You don't even need to put up one of these big spacer pieces in. Just put you a piece up top, like I said, just to keep it from moving around. And just take it all the way up, which is what I've done on a larger one that I made than this one. It's quite a bit larger than this. Not a whole lot, but a good bit. Much thicker. Anyways, as you can see, what I've got going on with this is I have secured to each 5 a rib, an inner circle rib for strength and stability for the inside of this thing. Now I could, if I want to, I could just go ahead and just start weaving all the way up to the top if I really wanted to, because this is still fairly, it's flexible. I can get a good, you know, half an inch out of that without forcing it. So either way you're good. Just do what works for you with the size of trap that you're making and the material that you're using. These little guys here are from Dogwood, which is growing right next to the willow. So I just chopped these guys down. They're about the right thickness, about thumb size at their thickest point. So anyways, I'm going to show you real quick what I did here. I used paracord. It's approximately a little under 2 feet of paracord for each one of these is what I cut. Okay, so what I've done here, I'm going to show you. This is real simple. Now, here's a little tip for you. When you start with these things, they're going to be pretty stiff for the most part in a thicker area. And a little tip for you to do, guys, is to take these little guys, and what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of work it just like this, okay? And just what you're doing is you're kind of working the fibers inside the wood, because sometimes, especially when you get down to these far ends, they'll get really really hard. I mean, actually this one right here is going to have to be trimmed off about right here. So about right there is where it's going to have to be trimmed off because it's just so darn stiff. As you can see, actually see where the bend is right here, and then from here it's just rock hard. I can't get it to do anything, but as you can see, just kind of work it. Get those fibers inside there, kind of worked around, get them loosened up, get them, train them, so to speak. This piece is a little thinner than I'd like it to be, but that's all right. It's going to work. It's fine. This stuff's a lot tougher than you think. Anyways, okay, on with this. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to form a circle. Okay, the best you can. You're not always going to get this right. You're never going to get a perfect circle for the most part. I mean, you can, but don't worry about it, because you're going to be doing a lot of trimming anyways, and things are going to pull together. As you can see, I can get a pretty good circle out of that. You can tie this down, get it good to go. Wrap this. Now what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to flip this up. You can do this on the ground, you can do this sitting at a table, whatever is most comfortable for you. I'm kind of doing this the hard way for the camera to give you guys a view. Anyways, what I'm going to do here, guys, is this. Like I said, this is not truly necessary to do for this particular trap, because I have plenty of flexibility, and I'm good to go on this stuff. So, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of measuring this. I'm going to come down a good inch or so from the top. Now, me personally, I like to be down that far because I want to be able to tie off on it. And I actually want to be able to have some feet on this thing. When I want to store it, I can store it upside down, and it's not gonna, everything's not going to be laying on the ground. Just the feet will. So we're going to get our rough shape here, of our rough size. Okay, this looks pretty good. Like I said, these are still flexible enough I can pull them in and tighten them. I don't want to get them too tight, because as I'm weaving this is going to be the pressure is going to be, it's going to be making it go in and out on me. So I don't want it to be too tight on there. But for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this, since I got my size. Okay. Now what I need, guys, is a piece of paracord or cordage of any kind, whatever it is you have. I don't want to use the ones I have in my pocket because I already have them counted out. Here we go. We'll just use this one. Okay. Now, you want to tie this off. It doesn't have to be anything big and fancy. Just tie the darn thing. Just use an overhand knot. Snug it up. Now I'm going to kind of go down through this here like so. I'm pulling tight as I'm going. Come closer to you so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I've tied my knot. Just an overhand. And I'm coming back through tightly. I'm going to leave myself enough of the end here to be able to tie off. Now you can do this as far along as you want, depending on how much you want to put into the cordage. Now I'm just going to tie it off with a good old-fashioned square knot. Now, this is not totally necessary, but as some of you know, with me, I love knots. But with me, with this square knot, is that I like to be able to secure it, make it a little more safer. So really, if you just throw in another little overhand knot, just in the center like we've discussed before, and other knots, it's going to act as a backup to help to keep it from slipping. The paracord, sorry, I'm tripping over my words. The paracord will slip. It is notorious for it. So bank line is a good thing to use. It holds knots really well. It doesn't have as much of a strength rating, but you can get 300 pounds out of good bank line. Anyhow, as you can see, we've got a circle. It's not a perfect circle, but that's really not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Now I would also suggest, I'm not going to worry about it at this very moment, but I would suggest go ahead and put your little wrap to secure the opposite end of your wrap, okay, where the little tag in like thing is here. I'm not going to worry about that at this very moment. I'm just going to wrap it and wrap it. Okay. So, see what I mean, guys, about using this in on the tables or on the ground or whatever? Because yeah, it gets to be a pain in the neck a little bit. So, here we go. All right. Now, I've got 5 strips here already pre-cut to make this a little quicker. Now, what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to actually use, if you remember some of the old knot videos that I've done, we did a big section on the square lashing. This is one I prefer using on here myself. I'm just going to start off with an overhand knot, though. I'm not going to use the clove hitch to start with. It's really not necessary on this. This thing will move around on you, so get ready for a small headache for a few minutes. Okay, now we're going to do just a good old a good old-fashioned square lashing. Okay. We've got her done now. Good to go. As you can see, we've tied off all 5. Everything is straight, well, for the most part anyways. And we're good to go. We got us a shell, a framework anyways. Good to go. Remember, when you're doing your cordage, try to have more than what you need. Good rule, I would say. It's better to have too much than not enough. I cut these first 4 too short. This 5th one, I actually lost the other piece, so I actually had to cut a new one. And realizing my mistake on the first 4, I went ahead and cut the last one at a good 2 feet. So you'd rather have too much than not enough. It's a lot of work if you're doing this, you know, all out of natural cordage and such. So just keep that in mind. Now, from here, guys, it's a piece of cake. All we're doing now, we're just going to fill in the holes. Okay? So all we're doing here, we're going to find our last spot where we left off at. We're going to try to start right up underneath it. Looks good to me here. Okay. Yep, there we go. That'll work. All right. Now, as I was saying before, guys, you don't necessarily have to have this piece way down here right now at this moment, okay? You don't have to. Simple fact is, once you get going, you can literally just turn this thing upside down and you can go a lot faster. You can actually remove these. But it's gonna all come together anyways as you're going up. Once you hit midway, all your strength is in here anyways. So just a little tip. Some may disagree. And I apologize to you if you disagree with what I just said, but it's just from my own experience. Okay, so now we're just going to start weaving this thing through. Looks like I can about take this darn poncho off. Stop raining. For now anyways. Supposed to be a whole day of rain. So this, guys, is all you're going to be doing from this point on until this thing is plumb full all the way to the top, all the way to the top, all the way up here. And then from there, we're going to make the insert. Okay, the insert is just going to be a frame like this, okay, that's going to be angled downward, and it's going to sit in and be lifted out. That's actually going to trap the fish inside. It can swim in, but it can't swim out. Okay guys, so we've got half of it done, and we've exhausted our supply of red twig dogwood. That's why when I started this video I explained to you guys that we need more than one source, which is why we've got our willow. And that may not be enough. We might even have to still go back and get some more to finish this. We probably will, because of the insert. We're not going to have enough. So we'll keep going. Alright guys, here's it is. We've run out of supplies to finish this, so we're going to take a break. I'm going to go collect some more dogwood, and we're going to finish this up. So hang in there, and we're almost done. Thanks for the patience. Gotta have it doing this. Alright guys, so I'm back. As you noticed, we ran out of saplings. So I ran back out, went back to the lake, and found me a bunch more. Got a whole bunch of it ready here. I've gone ahead and stripped them. But I saved a couple just to kind of show you a simple way to do this. If you want, I'll just show you something. If you notice, these branches all go upward like this in a V shape. And really, these thicker ones here, you can just pop them right off as long as you have a good sharp knife. Okay, just slide it real easy. Boom, boom, done. Okay, just clean them off. Okay, just run your knife right on up. Boom, boom. Some of them are going to be a little stubborn. My knife needs to be sharpened a little bit. Been using it a couple days now. A lot. Just cut that tip off. Something else you can do, guys, is you can just hold it safely away from your body, away from your hands, and just chop straight down since you got that nice upward on it. Okay, don't worry about a couple of these little guys kind of hanging out. They ain't gonna hurt nothing. Okay, again. Red twig dogwood. This stuff's amazing. I think I like it better for this particular project than I do the willow, to be totally honest, because it's more thick. It's more, the tips aren't so fine. So I want to show you something real fast here on identification on dogwood. All right. Okay, little trick I learned recently. Okay, I want you to look at these leaves. Try to back up here. Now, little good trick to learn about identifying true dogwood is to take this leaf, okay, and you're going to very gently kind of pop it loose. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull it apart, and you're going to look for these little tiny little strings. I don't know if you can see those or not. I hope you can. But in between these leaves right here are little strings. Okay, you can see that there's a real good one right there. But there's several little strings. And those little guys right there are going to be a tall tale sign telling you you do have a true dogwood. See right here's some real good ones. I hope the camera's picking that up for you good. Real good little hair-like things. Okay, anyhow, let's move on. Okay, now let's get back to weaving this thing. Alright, brought me up a stool. Getting to that point. Trying to find my last one. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Oh,
what are you making?
fish trap.
Oh, yeah. For what kind of fish?
Whoever wants to swim in it.
He's building it here.
Doing an instructional